You're watching Griffon Sports Insider, presented by Spine and Sport Physical Therapy. Now, here are your hosts, Brett Easley and Ryan Menley.
This week on GSI, a final salute to 5 seniors, a final goodbye to Coach Tom Smith, and an emphatic hello to a spring swing. Hello and welcome. The Griffon baseball team should be arrested for assault and battery. Things they're doing right now just ridiculous.
Boy, they're heating it up, aren't they, at the plate? Well, the Griffons are in midseason form. Basketball at Missouri Western is wound down. The Griffon women just completed their best season in 8 years.
Yeah, 16-12 overall. Not bad for a team that won 7 games a season ago. The Griffons made a run in the MIAA conference tournament with an upset win in Pittsburgh before falling in a quarterfinal heartbreaker in Kansas City.
Pittsburgh, Kansas, opening round of the MIAA Conference Tournament. The 10th-seeded Griffon women trying to knock off the 7th-seed Pitt State for the second time this season. This guy's wearing a diaper. Rob Edmondson's wearing a wire.
You're awful jumpy out there. You're running around guarding about 7 different people. If you're going to foul it so she doesn't get the basket. Don't throw bull at me. Now, don't do that.
Don't bull at me either.
Where the frick is the foul? Quit fouling, box out, go to the rim hard.
Thank you. Griff's coming out like gangbusters. Jaquita Deaver attacking the basket. Western with an early 15-4 lead. Later, Brittany Griswold lead expansion. Griff's up by 18 now. They take a 42-32 lead to halftime. The lead was 13 with under 10 minutes to play, but then Pitt just completely goes off. Lizzie Geronimus takes over. She scored 18 of her 25 points in the second half. That sparks an 18-3 Lady Gorilla run. They take their first lead of the game with a minute 30 to play. Gut check time for the Griffs.
What do you got? How tough are you?
They respond. Heather Howard drains the 16-footer. We're tied at 62. Next trip down, Griffs down 2 with under a minute to play now. Who do you go to? Griswold from the wing. Buries it. Western back up by 1. 30 seconds to play now. We're tied at 65. Griswold again, line drive. All net. Her 5th three-pointer of the night. She had 19 points for the game. Western reclaims the lead. On the other end, Pitt needs an answer. Instead, Lanisha Lawrence takes it away. That ices the game, and the Griffons survive a wild one. 71-67 the final. Griffs moving on. Grizz the hero.
I mean, none of us were ready to go home. I sure as heck wasn't ready to go home.
How big was Grizz at the end?
Oh, amazing. Systematic, automatic. I mean, I'm just happy that she had the confidence where all year we had to tell her, Chris, take your shot. And tonight, you know, she was taking it.
It's just really good to finally show up and it being the last year and all. Like, it was a great win.
Hey, we could be in the wrong place 99 times out of 100, but goddamn, we got right place one time. Hey, we're 1-0. We're 1-0. The next game, we get to be like everybody else. It's just another win. We just need one more win to keep advancing, okay? Survive and advance. Survive and advance. Hey, seniors, we got you one more game.
Friday night MIAA tournament quarterfinals in Kansas City. Bear Bell and the 10th-seeded Griffons taking on former Griffon head coaches Josh Keister, Dave Slifer, and the 2-seed Central Missouri. Western trying to avenge a regular season overtime loss to the Jennies in January. They start hot. Charnice Lewis, the early hot hand, 3 first-half threes, gives the Griffs an early 3-point lead. Later, Jaquita Deaver the miss. Heather Howard the board, though. Good look to Bear Bell for 2. Western up 30-27 at halftime. Coach Emerson on open mic night at the Muni in KC.
You've got to lock down the perimeter. Lock it down. She hand checked her all the way. She hand checked her all the way. Get in their grill and make them put it on the floor.
Meanwhile, the Jennies heating up. Brianna Lewis helps Central hit back-to-back-to-back threes. The Griffons fall down by 6. They'd be down 10 with under 5 minutes to play, but they charge back. Deaver to the hoop. Western back within 3. Final 25 seconds. It's a 1-point game. Deaver takes the ball away, has the breakaway, gets fouled. She'd missed both free throws, but gets her own rebound. So the Griffs will have the ball and play for the final shot. Here we go. They run the clock down. Deaver kicks to Lewis, who forces up the 3, but it's way short. And Western's season ends with a heartbreaking 54-53 loss and into the line for 5 seniors, but nothing to hang their heads. The Griffons finished with a 16-12 record, their best official record since 2005. What a ride this season was.
You know, there's a time where as a coach you're competing to win games, and there's a time where you reflect, and now
as a coach, I'm reflecting upon, did we do the things that I wanted to have this program do in its first year? And I'm just tremendously proud of where we've gone and what we've done this first year.
Last year, around this time, when I decided that, you know, I'd already made the decision I was done with basketball, and you know, Coach got a hold of me and said, you'll regret it if you don't play your last year, if you don't take this opportunity, and I'm so glad I made the decision to come here and just be with these girls. They're amazing.
And this year for Coach Ed to come here and, you know, kind of put his foot back in my butt and say, so what, you're 23, so what, your knees hurt, so what, you have a kid, give me what you got. And I'm so happy he came, because this year was probably the most enjoyable year of college basketball for me. 10 months ago at that time, I felt like, okay, I'm done with this. And today I wish that, of course, I had more time. So.
Joining us now for the final time this season, head coach Rob Edmondson. 16-12, 9-game improvement from last year. This is your first year. Grade yourself.
I'd probably say B-, maybe heading towards that C+ area, B-. Just from a standpoint that I felt like that there were some things we left on the table, not so much with wins and losses, but in terms of quality of play. I really felt like our kids' last 2 or 3 games kind of started getting it, especially defensively. And now you go, boy, I wish we had 10 more games, because I think they really have bought in now. They really understand it. Because our style of play and to play the way we play every game takes a tremendous amount of energy. But it gives us something to build off of next year. You know, we can, it's kind of like at the old swimming pools when you were a kid, you had the low dive, the medium dive, and the high dive.
I never got past the low dive.
I never dove in. I just jumped in feet first. Yeah.
Well, because it hurts to jump with floaties on off the top dive. It hurts your arms a little bit.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah. So we feel like we maybe springboard from the low dive, and now we're trying to crawl on that medium dive board a little bit, and then eventually, hopefully, we'll get to the high dive.
Rob, your first senior class is always special, and you've kind of reflected on them before, but especially special to watch them in postseason play, because you look back at the box scores and who did the majority of the scoring. Brittany Griswold has a great game against Pitt, wins the game. Heather Howard was Heather Howard. Alicia Bell played her consistent role. Callie Schoonover filled in. Casey Klauser, unfortunately, didn't get to play in her last game, but that's going to be a special class for you because it was your first here.
It is, and you always remember those kids, because eventually they're going to be ambassadors for us. You know, when we start recruiting here in a few weeks and bringing kids in, you know, we'll get Alicia Bell and Heather Howard and those seniors to talk about how special the school is. Those kids as a group are good people. They were good ambassadors all year long for us. They were kids that at times, you know, a couple of them played heavy minutes at times. Some of their roles changed for those other kids. But as a group, they were always more concerned about, is this best for the team? What's best for the team? And they wanted to make sure the team had success this year. And so very proud of that group.
The next question is, the obvious question is, what's next? We know the obvious answer, that's recruiting.
Yeah.
At this point, what are you looking for?
Well, I think the things that hopefully, you know, and it gets tough, it's a process, but we feel like that we got to sit down and evaluate what were some of our consistent weaknesses this year. And one of them overall was just consistent shooting. So you're out on the market obviously looking for kids that can consistently shoot the ball, which is a hard thing, because consistently shooting it at the level they're at, whether it be high school or junior college, might be a little bit different than consistently shooting here. But you try to find those kids that mechanically look like they have a good stroke and can shoot the ball. But I think we got to get a couple more shooters to balance out our floor. We were too one-dimensional with a couple of kids, and then they get guarded and hugged pretty hard, and we got to be able to spread the floor with more shooters. I feel like we got to find a little more post presence, not so much from scoring as much as defensively and rebounding. I think we got to have a little more depth there. So I think we got a great nucleus coming back. We've got kids that down the last 2 or 3 weeks have impressed us a little bit in terms of trying to get what we want to do, and then we'll just try to add some pieces to the puzzle. But you know, we'd like to find a couple of high school kids in the mix too. We don't want to just completely do transfer kids this next year. We'd like to find a couple of high school kids that can be with us, like a Callie Schoonover was here 4 years, and that you can have a couple of those kids every single year that help build your program. So, but bottom line, we're looking for talent. And if you're talented enough to come help us win games, we're going to try to recruit you.
Rob, this is the final regular season edition of Out of the Box with Rob, and I know you've kind of been in withdrawals ever since the last Out of the Box with Rob.
I have.
So
I
I'm
have.
sure you have.
That's why you lost on Friday.
It was a big part of it.
And these are good questions this week, by the way. Again, we just asked you three. They may or may not be related to one another. We don't fill out NCAA tournament brackets at this level because the NCAA doesn't let us do that.
Against the rules.
But if you did do that,
don't even look like that. You've never fill out a bracket for money or anything like that. But
let's just say that you were going to do that. Are you a big-time upset guy? Are you a chalk guy? Do you always pick the traditional 14/3 because it happens every year? How would you approach that?
I kind of do that. You know, you got your favorite teams that you pick, but you know, Vegas odds, that 14th seed, there's like a 70% chance that 2 of those 4 are going to win. So now if you're playing it for money, which is the only reason really to play it, right?
No, not at the NCAA, not with office pools or anything like that.
Oh, so you're just talking about for like fun?
Just for fun.
Yeah.
Well, then I go buy colored uniforms.
Colored uni. Okay. Well, duh. That's kind of what I thought you were going to say. Hey, Rob, there's this thing that I really think's kind of phased out. It's called the Harlem Shake. Do you know what that is?
I do.
Have you done your own video?
I do.
Would you be the guy wearing the mascot head? What are you?
I would be wearing some type of
please.
something covering my face so that maybe it would disguise who it was. But we'll probably have to have a version of that.
Oh, boy.
We'll have it coming. It'll be a special edition Harlem Shake women's basketball.
Okay.
I'd like to get you two involved.
I'd like to not be involved with that or have anything to do with
In front of the camera, not behind the camera.
No, either
yes.
way.
And Rob, finally, you kind of joked about recruiting season, called it hunting season. I thought that was clever. Let's say we were really talking about hunting season. What would you hunt? Would you hunt ducks, quail, pheasant, squirrels, geese, all of the above, deer?
Pheasant.
Yeah.
I grew up hunting pheasant out in western Kansas.
You like to eat pheasant?
No. Well,
okay. Because they do serve that.
Yeah, they do. I just had a 5-course pheasant meal here not too long ago.
Okay.
At the Yordy's house.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
They had a dinner.
Interesting.
And
Dr. Yordy, Dr. Jonathan Yordy.
Yordy makes an appearance on the show this
They had
week.
5 courses of the meal, and it all had pheasant in it. And it was surprisingly tasteful.
Okay.
Tasteful.
But
Tasteful.
I am getting ready to go turkey hunting.
That's Rob Edmondson. You know what? You said it's a B- season. We call it a successful season.
That's
16
it.
and 12. I know it's your first year and growing pains, but to get through what you got through and do what you did, you should be proud.
Well, appreciate it, and thanks for having the show. It's a lot of fun, and it's always a surprise every moment here.
Well,
of course it is.
Exactly. We'll have you back if you make it through next year, so it's okay. Or
My
this year.
contract.
Actually, we are all on 1-year renewable contracts, so we'll go from there. Anyway. Meanwhile, the search is on for a new Griffon men's basketball coach. No surprise there after Tom Smith's imminent retirement. Athletic Director Kurt McGuffin is handling the search himself, and there has been no shortage of choices so far. More than 200 applicants already. Smith, of course, announced his intentions to step down after the season last December, giving plenty of notice to get going on finding his replacement.
It's been neat because I've been able to watch coaches, especially ones that maybe I've thought about earlier, or have applied early, and I've been able to go maybe watch them coach a game without them knowing I'm there and just seeing how their kids respond to them or how I can, just see. I think that's important. A lot of times we don't get to do that in Division II. I think it's very important to have somebody that will fit in Missouri Western that probably has had a lot of ties to this area as far as the Midwest. I think, anytime you got to find a recruiter. That's the name of the game. Head coaches at this level have to go out and find players.
This will be Missouri Western's first new men's basketball coach in 25 years. Obviously an important hire. Before he leaves us for good, we'll talk one final time with Coach Tom Smith when GSI comes back.
The most helpful physical therapist in the world on ACL rehab.
Enough said. Stay healthy, my friends.
I am your physical therapist. My job is to crack the whip, push you. Got an ache? I've got the remedy. Muscles weak? I'll make you strong. Whatever it is, I will get you better. I'm Nikki Hilgenberg, and this is Spine and Sport.
For the first time in 25 years, there will be a new face leading Missouri Western basketball. Coach Tom Smith calling it a career March 4th after the MIAA Conference Tournament loss at Northwest. Joining us now, former Griffon basketball coach Tom Smith.
Wow.
How's that
Yikes.
Strange, different.
I bet that it would.
You know, it's not only for the 25 years here, but then you know I've got 13. I have 13 years, you know, prior to that. So there's 38 total years as a head coach, and it'll be strange. But you know, I finally realized something. I don't think when everyone says, you know, has it sunk in? How do you feel the whole thing? I don't think it'll really hit me until October 15th of next year.
Do you think you'll come back and watch every game? Do you think you'll be able to do that?
I doubt that. I mean, you know, I just don't want to be put into a situation where people ask me, you know, I mean, you know, what would you do or how would you know, I just don't want that. I can walk away from this knowing that, you know, the number of wins I had here will be hard to break, just because you know, people don't last that long in the profession like I did.
Looking back on this year a little bit, and looking ahead to next year, obviously whoever the new coach is going to do some recruiting. You think he's got a good nucleus to work with next year? The guys coming back?
I think we're okay. You know, I'm not going to be, you know, I'm not walking out of here saying, you know, the program is in great hands, the whole business. I don't think, you know, we'd have won more than 10 games if we were really good. I don't think there's any question about that. Do I think there's a good nucleus? Yes, I do. I think that there's, are they going to be the backbone of you know, a new coach's team? I don't think so. I think number one priority, at least on my list, would have been, you know, if I were going to continue, would have been still the hunt for a quality point guard.
You're going to be a wealth of knowledge. If you had to give the new guy one piece of advice, what would it be?
You have to change the recruiting, I think, more than anything else. By that, I mean he needs to be, the recruiting at Division II has to be more like Division I. And it hasn't had to be like that for most of my career here. Most of the time it's been find the players, bring them in. You know, once they're here, I can sell them, and I've been able to sell them over most of my years here. I think now there's much more. You have to be more active with Twitter. You have to be more active, you know, on cell phones, Facebook, you know, all those things. And secondly, you need to be out in the old actual visits, home visits and things like this. Now, with most of our recruiting on the junior college level, we didn't have to do a whole lot of that. It wasn't getting into the homes. It was getting the kids on campus and selling them on the whole thing. But I think as the recruiting changes a little bit, and you'll have to go a little more with four-year guys or Division I transfers. Either way, you're going to have to get out and get into homes and do more of that than we probably had to do over the years that I've been here. So my advice is, you know, you better be able to recruit.
What's next for you? You just going to kind of hang out and watch some March Madness games here? You got a big cruise planned?
I've got a couple of cruises. I think.
Cruises. Let's hope the power stays on
going
the
to Florida. We'll travel a lot, but I think I've said before I missed my first tryouts, I think, with the Rubidoux Theater, but as soon as I get myself together, you know, and I really, this sinks in, and I think March Madness is over and everything, I really would like to do, you know, some local theater, you know, if I can. I don't know. I've never done it. But I've always wanted to do it.
I really like the look too. The brand. I've never seen you not in Missouri.
This is European. Actually, you were saying it's European.
I'm not the coach anymore. That's why I took it off.
Well, Coach Smith, this is going to be your final Easley's Impromptu, at least kind of regular season edition. Why do I have a feeling this is not going to be your last appearance?
We didn't tell you this. We're actually, he's going to co-host the show next year.
Oh, I'm done. Oh, thanks. Yes. Stunning, shocking. I can't believe that. Coach Smith, you talk about acting a lot. Is there a role out there you'd like to play if somebody said, Tom Smith, here, you choose your roles. You could be Hansel, you could be whoever. Who do you want to be?
Wow. You know what? This is going to sound really strange, but it'd be Hamlet.
No. Finally, it just seems like all retirees say, I'm going to be a Walmart greeter. True or false, Tom Smith's going to be a Walmart greeter?
False.
False.
Really? False.
Come on.
False. I'm going to help the people at Hy-Vee select wines.
Oh, there you go.
That's the same thing as a Walmart greeter.
No, it's a lot different.
Well, you already do that now, right?
I already do it now.
You already do that now.
I do. If someone's in there, I'm always like, can I help you?
Thank you so much. It has been so much fun. I've known you for the 10 years. He's known you longer, and obviously a lot of other folks have known you a lot longer. But really appreciate everything you've helped me ever since I've been in town. You've helped me on the transition here, and I'm going to miss you a whole lot.
Well,
Likewise.
Thanks to both of you for that. I think, one of the things that I learned before I left Iowa State to take the Central Missouri jobs, I worked for a guy named Ken Trickey, and Ken was the most media-friendly person I've ever known. And I think I didn't learn a lot from Coach Trickey. I hate to say this, but I did learn that.
It's been the good and the bad, so
Yeah.
we've been through it all.
Absolutely.
That's Coach Tom Smith one final time. We'll be right back.
No win. Good snap, good hold. The kick is up, and it is certainly long enough, and it is certainly perfect. Another field goal by Greg Zerline. He is now 5 for 5.
The most helpful physical therapist in the world on field goal kicking.
When the game's on the line, there's no one better than Zerline.
Train like the pros, my friends.
The most helpful physical therapists in the world on dodgeball.
You'll never know when three-dimensional flexibility will come in handy. Stay healthy, my friends.
This GSI Griffon Sports Update brought to you by Uncle D's Sports Bar and Grill. Uncle D's, it's where your friends are.
This has delayed it for almost a month, but it may finally happen Wednesday. Welcome back. The it in question is a home opener.
Yeah, Missouri Western Baseball scheduled to play William Jewell this Wednesday if the snow stays away. The snow is the it. The Griffins will play, and if what they've done away from home is any indication, then the home fans should be in for a treat. The Griffins undefeated in MIAA play. They're 9-3 on the season. They've won 8 games in a row. They haven't just won, they are assaulting other teams. Western has scored 10 or more runs in 4 of the last 5 games. They are hitting a scorching .368 as a team. That's a ridiculous stat. Apparently, too, hitting is contagious.
We're just hitting the crap out of the ball right now, and I mean, whatever. Like when we're down 4 runs in the first last week, and it's like, no big deal. We'll score 16, no big deal. So it's a lot of fun. Never been a part of something like this.
Yeah, this whole team's focused right now. We're all pretty squared up the ball pretty well, and it's tough to do even at the beginning of the year. Just have the whole team hitting well.
Well, we knew at the beginning of the year that was going to be probably one of our strong parts of our game, I think, collectively as a team. But we told our guys, you want to be a good hitting team, you hit everything. Hit everything. That's the key.
And let's not forget about pitching, and Brandon Simmons is mowing down history.
Well, he certainly is. Last week, the senior right-hander notched his 27th career win, which ties him for the most all-time in school history. He shares the record with Nick Finn. Nick played here 1972 to 1975. Simmons is 3-0 and will have his chance to break the record this week. What a career he's had.
For somebody to be able to come in and be able to do that and even get close to breaking somebody's record of that magnitude is unreal.
It's awesome. I think this year is the team that we could potentially win the national championship with, and I wanted to do everything to be a part of it this year and contribute and just to help this team succeed.
Griffins open at home against William Jewell Wednesday. They'll take on Northeastern State in MIAA play Saturday with a 1 p.m. doubleheader and a single game on Sunday at 12 p.m. Missouri Western softball also has its home opener this weekend. Griffins will host Central Missouri in MIAA play. With a doubleheader Friday night at 5 p.m., they'll play 2 more against Southwest Baptist beginning at noon on Saturday. Jen Bagley's team 12-6 on the season.
I met Gerald in 2010. He came to me after an injury he sustained in Afghanistan back in 2008. And he described to me as he was in his Humvee and got blown up by a roadside bomb, and that he broke his back, he broke his hip, separated his shoulder. Working with a Special Forces soldier, to think about the demands that he's got to go through. it's a whole nother concept of training like the pros.
So I've had really good progress. But it's been amazing, especially coming up here, working, utilizing the pool for the buoyancy factor, especially at the beginning, to kind of help the actual healing process. I mean, I've kind of transitioned from actual mobility to stability, and lately onto strength and resistance and cardiovascular training.
And it took him 2 years and multiple surgeries, but it was fun to see him go from broken to back in the Special Forces doing what he does best, and that's serving the country. And he was a great inspiration to all of us to see him go through that transformation.
All right, we're here with the guys' basketball team again to talk about a rebounding drill. This is going to be fun. We've got the Spine and Sport Bazooka. This is a PVC pipe with water in it, and so as Freddie shows us here, it kind of can tilt him side to side. It's going to challenge his core side to side. Here's the drill. Freddie's going to go down into a rebounding squat position. He's got a 10-pound vest on here. He's got a 25-pound tube of water that's going to challenge him side to side. Reed's going to create some perturbations. Go ahead, and as he pulls him, it's just like Freddie having to box somebody out. He's got somebody on his back. He's going to drop step back, get back to home base, and he's fighting for position using his core, using his hips. While that water goes side to side, it really makes him use his obliques and a side to side plane. You know, rebounding is a physical game. We've got to load up the basketball player. We've got to get them prepared for whatever battle they're going to have in the paint. That's training like the pros at Spine and Sport.
Harlem Shake.
And thanks to the Missouri Western soccer team. You know, I don't understand the Harlem Shake. I don't get it. It's past its prime. Speaking of past its prime, man, hey.
How does he continue to get past the guard?
You're not even supposed to be here. You're not. And we're not doing a Harlem Shake either, man. And it ain't gonna happen. And get out. Help. Security.
Hey, Max.
Finally.
Harlem Shake that, baby.
Well, I guess that says it all.
Thanks.
Thanks to Coach Smith for that. That's, I guess, Coach Smith's parting shot, literally.
It is, literally. I wouldn't have had it any other way.
That's GSI for this week.
As always, ladies and gentlemen, go Griff.
Maybe we'll be back another week.